Hey everybody, Norm from Testa here at Comic-Con 2019. Now, a staple now at Comic-Con is the Mondo booth, and right around the corner is a massive line for their posters, but this is the wall I'm interested in because they're toys and collectibles. Brock, one of the creative directors here at Mondo, let's talk about what you guys have lined up this year, because you guys have done collectibles for a few years now. What's the market like? What makes these collectibles unique among all the other ones we see here at Comic-Con?
Yeah, I think we tend to just kind of do this, the stuff that people want that maybe other companies think is too crazy to do. And so we're like, we'll do the crazy stuff, and it usually ends up awesome. So yeah, so like for example, like taking on Batman the animated series, but doing it aesthetically as close as possible to the original animated cell, down to like cell shading them and trying to hide the articulation as best as possible with that stuff, but doing them as much larger, which means that they're much more expensive to produce. But we thought there's a market for it, and turns out there is. So that's great. Or in the case of our Mondo Mecha line, where we're taking characters like Batman and Captain America and turning them into Japanese-influenced, like basically large mecha robots that'll be fully articulated. If you know anything about manufacturing, there's tooling costs involved with that. It's very expensive, but we're just silly enough to do it, to try it out. So that's kind of what it is: a little bit of bravado, a little bit of stupidity, and a lot of passion. That's really kind of what we do. So. And
you guys are known for your collaborations with artists that give, they work with you guys sometimes exclusively, but sometimes also just to show them in a way we've never seen before, right? And we see that in the Mecha line. Are these designs that came out from inside the company, or was there an artist that you work with for these?
So with these ones, we have several different designers that worked on these. Kind of the concepts, the ideas come from internally, and then we find different artists out there. And when they go up for order, we reveal the full list of artists, because it's a long list of artists. But yeah, we're a little different than the poster team or the record team, where we generally per product we have a lot of artists, like sometimes up to like 10, 12 different artists working on the items, because there's everything from concepting to sculpting, 3D printing, mold making, painting, articulation, engineering. It's just crazy. So I always look at this stuff as always a team effort, with just the passion of the entire team, internally and externally, involved in each product that we do.
Even among the Mecha line, you have your takes on Batman, you got your takes on Captain America, two different licenses, two different companies. Are these licenses, are the licensors the same to work with for collectibles as they are for posters? Or, obviously, like a company like DC's, they've been doing collectibles forever. What's that relationship like?
Yeah, well, in the case of how we deal with DC, it's actually Warner Brothers. So we've known Warner Brothers for years. We work really well with Marvel, the same thing. It's just a great opportunity, and what they like to see is new and different takes on stuff that they've seen before. If we just come to them wanting to do just another Batman statue, maybe they'd be less enthusiastic about it. But when we're saying, hey, what about giant Japanese-style robots? Then they're like, heck yeah, let's do it. So yeah, so they're usually pretty easy. As long as you're coming to them with something cool and they think that people want it, then yeah, they're down to party.
And then of course you got your He-Man line, you got some stuff from video games. It's a pretty wide gamut of licenses. How do you choose which ones you want to go with? And is there a list that you guys are still working on that are in this vein, or what can we see next?
Yeah, so how we choose is kind of a weird mix of like passion, math, and black magic, of like figuring out like, okay, where's a niche that we can fill that's never been filled before. And with the Master Universe line, no one has ever done 1/6 scale figures of them before, and so that was one I saw. I'm like, well, that's what I want. And a lot of times it starts with, what would I buy? And I'd buy that. So that's kind of where it starts. With the video game characters, same thing. No one's ever done Gordon Freeman from Half-Life as a 1/6 scale, nor Kratos from God of War. Now in the case of something like Creature from the Lagoon, that's what we're working on, and it's been done once before by Sideshow Collectibles, my alma mater, but for the modern era, with the kind of articulation we can do now, so that's how we're going to approach it, something brand new that hasn't been seen before. And yeah, so it's passion driven and the absence of the cool thing that needs to be out there.
Any plans to take some of the designs from the poster world that you guys work with and those takes on the characters and turn them into physical collectibles?
Yeah, absolutely. We've done it before. We did a Harley Quinn by Matt Taylor that turned into a gorgeous statue. We did a Spider-Gwen by by Phantom City Creative, which we turned into a statue, and Francesco Francavilla did Batman Red Rain, we turned into a statue, just to name a couple of them. And we're definitely open to doing that. It just has to, the license has to work. And most of the time, compositions that work in 2D don't work in 3D, so that's always our challenge, is to find ones that are perfect, or start from the beginning and work on a design that's both poster-friendly and collectible-friendly. So we're always going to be doing that, because we love like crossing the streams of our different departments, and yeah, so yes, we will do that again. So.
What you have here are presumably some early prototypes, paint masters. What's the process of the back and forth between the factory to make sure the quality control is there, and what people are going to get is exactly as close to the paint master is showing at a place like Comic-Con?
Yeah, well, for us, it's always, the old saying, it's crap in, crap out. So to make sure you're not doing that. So you make the best, prototype possible, make sure you prep for the most, every contingency you possibly can, and for contingencies you can't plan for. And so, yes, it's a constant back and forth, constant just working on making sure articulation is tight enough, make sure paint apps are clean enough or dirty enough, depending on what you're going for. That's always a process. A lot of this is prototype. Some of these up here are production samples. Some of these are production samples. So what we like is where people look at it and can't tell the difference, because we want to make sure that what we show you at Comic-Con or online is what you get in your hand as close as possible.
Awesome, and it sounds like this wall is going to be ever expanding with more and more collectibles in the Mondo world. Thank you so much, Brock. Can't wait to see you guys put out in the years to come.
Thank you.